Hey, articulators. Do you smell that? I think it's... Dude, that's straight king shit, bro. That's what that is. Are you ready for this episode with Connor Pinkerton? Because this man has never dropped his crown once. He would never let his crown touch the floor because he is the king of many kings, I would say. And we all are kings, and stay proud kings. But this king specifically, we have a pretty cool connection just because, I had his twin brother on like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We grew up in Lebanon together, and we just run in the same squad, and he's just a goon, and I don't know, we have the same sense of humor. I hope you can tell that. There is some pretty dodgy stuff that we talk about in this episode pertaining to the rules and PC culture of the military community out there. So it gets a little touchy, and I hope you can at least understand where he's coming from. Being in that setting is a very different setting than on Twitter at home. You know what I mean? Like, there's things that they just say out there that first of all won't get recorded anywhere else, it's just in that environment where literally they could have to be in danger at any moment in their lives, and they're trying to make light of the littlest things and have a good, we explain it and we get into it, but I just don't want you to, at least, I don't want this to reflect poorly on him. Me, maybe I didn't do the best job in defending, both sides and progressive culture or whatever, and I'm trying to get better at that, but, I hope they cancel me. Wow. Just because, motherfucker Jimmy Kimmel does not want to meet me, I don't know. That's Dominic Fike from Cancel Me? Anybody? Nobody? Anyways, doesn't really matter. It's a good song. Check it out. But also, listen to this episode first. Okay? Thank you. Alright. Sup, CP? How you doing, bro?
I'm alright, man. How are you?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Connor Pinkerton, back from fresh out of Kuwait. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got home July 31st.
July 31st, yeah. How's it feel to be back, dude?
Good, dude. As you notice, I'm growing out my beard because I wasn't able to for the longest time.
Only the stash, right?
Yeah. It's coming in really, as mediocre as it could.
So the best case scenario.
yeah.
Okay, sick.
Yeah.
When'd you get shipped? How long were you out there for, again?
I left... Okay, so the training cycle in total started in April of last year, so it was about 18 months total that I was gone or training, on the Army's time.
Army time.
But I actually mobilized, and the last time I was in Ohio before this was August 27th of last year. We were in El Paso for 2 or 3 months because shit kept getting delayed because all the shit going on with Turkey and the Kurds and Syria and stuff like that, and our mission set changed a lot. And then I finally got over to Kuwait. I think we left El Paso November 2nd, got there November 4th because you lose a day in travel.
Oh,
and then, and then we got there and it was cold as fuck, which you don't expect to hear from the desert. Yeah, it was cold
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I think January, February, it probably got, at night, it probably got down into the 30s. There was times we were doing training missions where we were, freezing our asses off. I was wearing, a rain jacket just to keep warm.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, a couple months later, it's June, July, it's fucking 130 degrees. And you're making bets on what time your balls are going to start sweating. It's fucked up.
That's what you got to do for fun out there, right?
Pretty much. There's no... I don't have a word to...
Is the person that loses the bet just has to be dripped on by the sweat?
Yeah,
the ball sweat?
We had a bowl of everyone's sweat.
Oh, no.
And then instead of showering, you...
That's what you get.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
That's not true.
That's not true. All right, good. I'm glad we cleared the record on that one.
Goddamn.
So what? Can I ask you why you joined the Army in the first place? Because that sounds awful. In my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah, no. Actually, I've had this conversation a lot. It's more of a family legacy thing than anything because in our family we've had people in the service or some sort of service. So it dates back to Scotland and the War of Independence.
Oh really? William Wallace?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was.
You were Braveheart.
I was. Yeah, they actually called me Wallace in Kuwait.
Yeah.
Don't fact check that because that'd be disrespectful.
Yeah. Nobody look up anything.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where my dad did it, his dad did it, his dad before him, and there's a Cincinnati made an article, I think it's like 1930 something, about the fighting Pinkertons, and it was
oh really?
My great grandfather fought in the Civil War with his dad, and then he had 4 sons. 2 sons fought in the American Spanish War, and 2 sons fought in World War One.
Wow.
So
none in World War II though.
On my dad's side, no, he was deferred because he was an electrician. Okay. On mom's side, yes. So it's still one of those things where the family legacy thing was still there, and I don't know, dude. I'm just a nerd. Like I like military shit. I wanted to do it. Like
I wanted to shoot fucking guns and blow shit up.
Yeah, dude. Like and really, who fucking doesn't want that? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, no, I feel it. That's a reason. I mean, I think it's definitely a good reason to do it too. And like, what do you have in this world besides family too?
Yeah, yeah, and
just a whole lot of disappointment. That's all I can say.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's really just who you're taking the disappointment on with. And, even in the Army, like that just turns into a second family. Like as much as I want to be here right now, you still want to be back in Kuwait with those guys.
Oh really?
They're not home yet. They got extended. They
damn.
So they're not going to get home till like October-ish, back to Ohio.
Wow,
so,
that's rough.
Yeah, they got
because why?
COVID going on, and then I mean there's a lot of reasons, but pretty much we could get into it later too, but our officers kind of didn't really give a shit about us, so they volunteered us for a mission that would extend us so we could replace someone else that deployed with us, so they could go home early and we had to stay.
Damn, dude.
So no one really had a say in it. The reason I came back, not even early, but on time, because we were told we were going to get back in July, was because I'm an apprentice with the electrician union in Cincinnati, so that I just got lucky.
Yeah.
They were like, we want you to miss your apprenticeship, so
nice.
Come back. So
I mean, it's nice for you, but yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I think that's one of the questions, right? Well, it's like what with the officers that don't give a shit about you. That's just how.
Yeah, it's
that shit. Like what is the structure like?
So if you're an LT, that's the lowest ranking officer you have. Well, second LT
that's
is
lieutenant.
LT. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have captain above him. So captain would be like your company commander type stuff. He's in charge of your whole unit. And then your LTs, normally there's 3 platoons per company. Mm-hmm. And your LT is in charge of each platoon. And then under him, you have, it depends on what your MOS is. So I'm a scout. So we would have 2 squads, 2 squad leaders, 2 teams in those 2 squads each. And then 4 guys are in each team. So pretty much like these LTs, at least for scouts, you're in charge of 20 to 30 guys. In my case, it was 40 because we were part of headquarters company, so we had a little bit more guys because we were the only platoon of scouts.
Yeah, it's like when they put more kids in a classroom because they're like, we have nowhere else for you to go. Here you go.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
And then kids are just biting each other and,
yeah.
and like pissing all over the place.
That's actually what happened.
That's what I mean. It sounds very similar. But that's I mean, and that's a lot of responsibility for you too, right? Because you're looking out for.
Yeah, I mean, at least the guys in your team, you're looking out for 3 other dudes, 4 other dudes, depending on what your role is. But even if you're the lowest ranking guy, you're still looking out for at least everyone in your team. But really, I mean, everybody looks out for everybody just because it's.
Except the officers, apparently.
Except the officers did. And I've been in for about 4.5 years now. Aside, I mean, it's going to sound gay.
It's gonna sound feminine, or we can't say gay anymore. It's not allowed. Yeah. We used to be able to. No, we lost that one in the war back in the in Kuwait. We lost. We can't say Kuwait. We lost gay in Kuwait. Anyways,
so I've been in for 4.5 years, and I've had one really good officer who I knew gave a shit about me and all the other Joes in our platoon. Joes are nickname for like lower ranking guys.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've had one, and then his name was LT Patton. He's a king.
Okay.
He was like the mom of the platoon, cared about everybody, but like he was also competent. Like I had other platoon leaders that like they cared about you, but they weren't competent in their job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like we were at NTC.
Don't forget to say no homo, by the way, just to make sure.
Yeah,
right.
It's not homo. Like I'm not into, not it's not a problem if you are, but
it's not a problem if you are, but you just don't want. Anyway,
yeah.
You don't get the misconception, right?
Yeah. So I've had others that cared about you and were competent. I've had other LTs that or officers even that, were competent, but they didn't care about you. They were more looking out for glory for themselves, which, I'm sure we're going to get into it later, but that happened a lot in World War II too. So it's not, it really, it's just luck of the draw if you get a good officer or a bad officer, and that kind of dictates your life because we're a scout platoon, but we did light infantry things for most of our deployment, such as like dismounted OPs, which were walking like 4 miles one way just to get to our OP site,
wow.
Which is an observation post, and you're looking at shit. But in the scout,
so walking 4 miles just because
one way through the desert at night,
damn.
like it's fucking horrible. It's either hot as fuck or cold as fuck, but it's never both. It's never nice.
It's never both.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So
it just happens like that. Like you said, luck of the draw.
Luck of the draw, yeah.
And so and that's been reoccurring in the Army since World War II, World War II.
Since the
Army's been even a thing, probably.
Every army, dude.
Right.
Like even back to like your ancient Greeks, Mesopotamia.
Yeah, that's for sure. It was all about that back then.
Yeah, you're gonna have good guys who give a shit about their their troops, or you're gonna have guys who are going out to seek glory. Like,
and do you think that's like wrong?
If you're asking people to fight for you and give their all, you should at least care about what happens to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, one example I can say is like Grant in Grant in the Civil War.
Yeah, I was like, he wasn't.
Yeah,
that was the World War.
he was really good at winning battles, but that's because he had more men than the South. So he would just keep throwing men at the South and not care about his losses, and he took a detrimental amount of losses because he could, where the South couldn't do that. So,
What's the word for the deplorables or something?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much if you view the people fighting for you as deplorable, then that's screwed up.
You lose respect from the people at that point,
you don't
right? And so nobody's going to want to fight for you in that time.
Or if you're blaming, so if bad things happen and you're blaming the people under you, you're an adult, you're an officer, you're in charge of these men. You take responsibility.
Right.
Ultimately, it's on you anyway. Don't blame someone that you're in charge of. So
yeah, and so that's where this the pride comes in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So do you think the pride is different now, like you said, like that glory or whatever? Do you think you're more prideful? They were more prideful back in World War II than they are now, or
as far as soldiers, or as far as like the country, because
the soldiers have for fighting.
Yeah, soldiers obviously, like I'm proud I'm in the Army, I'm proud I'm a scout, and there's like rivalries and stuff with other platoons or other companies or other MOSs that like you're gonna give other people shit because you're prideful of what what you do. You're good at your job.
Is it competitive?
Yeah, like okay, so scouts and infantry have a big rivalry between the two because infantry think that scouts consider themselves infantry, and the fact of the matter is that we're a lot smarter and we're qualified on more weapons and
really
optics, so
and that's just the fact.
They can get fucked.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, like yes, you're gonna beef with those guys, but even if they're in a fight with somebody else, like even if if they're infantry from your battalion and then some other fucking dumbass from another battalion starts clowning on those infantry dudes, like you're gonna stick up for those infantry dudes because you're with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're attached to you.
Right.
But as far as a nation goes, do I think that like World War II compared to now, like the pride as far as like young people, men and women, wanting to fight for their country, I think it's definitely different because less than 1% of the population volunteers for service now. And back then, like, you had dudes killing themselves because they couldn't you know, they couldn't join the army or they couldn't enlist for World
Captain
War II.
America.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Example number one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely different now, and I don't really know why that is. I mean, there's definitely.
Well, I feel like with World War II, you had like the enemy. You know, you had like I don't know, like the commies, and like Hitler was like a dude. Apparently, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, and we got attacked. You know.
Right, exactly. We got attacked, and so that was like a big factor. Whereas now it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's very political now.
It is, and it definitely like. You know, you don't understand why. Because I mean, I've had friends come up to me and say, why would you sign your life away like that? You know, because like I just found out today, like I'm gonna have to shave this beard. I gotta go back to drill and stuff on September 11th, and that's fine. Like I don't care. Like it's a beard. It's 2 days of my time.
I don't know, bro. No, that's kind of shit, dude. I don't know. The beard means a lot. But.
Yeah. But it's definitely I don't know. It's I don't know what I'm going.
Well, it's a huge commitment to make, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be able to do that when you're 18, it seems very, I don't know, like I can't make a commitment now. I don't know where I'm going to be in like a year, you know? It's like I have no idea, and I don't want to know in a way, but I don't know. It's just, it's just crazy. So which unit do you find the most compelling and why? What are the units?
When are you talking about, like now or World War II or?
So did you want to? Well, so actually, did you like read up on World War II while you were there?
Dude, I read a shit ton of books because you're just bored as fuck.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. So you just have all this. So will you have free time all the time? What do you do out there?
Okay, so when I first got there, we were doing training missions, fucking. Like at least 2-3 times a week, or classes. So like I think a lot of people don't realize about the Army is that like. You do classes because you learn perishable skills. So, like, as far as, like, land navigation goes, you need to remember how to read a map, how to get to different points on a map, and then how to navigate from where you're at to, you know...
Where you going?
Yeah, so that's just, like, one of the classes. Or, like, you know, I was a 240 gunner, and then I got switched to a 203 guy, or a 320 guy, I'm sorry. And that's a 40 millimeter grenade launcher you mount on the bottom of your rifle.
40 milligrams? That's tight.
Yeah. And then I got switched back to a 240 guy, but luckily we kept doing these classes where we had to fuck with our 240s and remember how to, you know, load them, unload them, functions check, clear them.
In a certain amount of time, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's time because it turns into a competition between, like, I'm a better 240 gunner than you, and this is why, like, I can do it faster than you, I know more shit about it than you, shit like that. So, it's a lot of like classes and stuff that we were doing too. So we're working every day doing these classes or doing these training missions where, you know, you're constantly like engaged in Army shit and you don't forget about it. So, you know, when we weren't doing those things, like we'd read, fuck around, you know, stuff like that, play music. I had
some recess time.
Yeah, I mean, I had an Xbox over there.
You guys play tag?
Yes, dude, all the time. Hide and seek.
Hide and seek, sardines, all the classics.
Yeah, hide and seek, shower together, you know, fun shit like that.
But you had an Xbox over there too?
Yeah, I had an Xbox, a little game case, and the Wi-Fi was shitty. It was
of course. Lag.
Three, I think, megabytes a second, $54 a month. Yeah, but I could play.
That's all that really matters.
So I could play shit. So I did that. Read a shit ton of books. You know, because you're not always in your living area, so you're not with that Xbox. So I could put a book in my backpack, read that. I think I went through like 12 books about whatever the fuck. I just got done with a book about Afghanistan before it turned into before it was ran by the Taliban.
Oh, really?
It's kind of a crazy history because we think Afghanistan is this country that was always kind of like the Wild West. It was always like. Riddled with terrorism, and that's not true. Yeah, it's pretty recent that shit happened. So I just read a lot, learned a lot of shit. World War II is like one of my favorite subjects about anything. Like I just find it interesting. So
what do you find most interesting about it?
It's just a cool ass fucking war, dude. Like there's so much.
What makes it better than the other wars? Yeah, World War II was the best war, bro. Straight up.
I mean, the weaponry, dude. Just the nationalism like involved. Like how fucking prideful they were, and whatever country you're fucking looking at.
Yeah.
You know, they're
the
all
German nationalism versus like American nationalism versus like British nationalism.
Yeah.
Because they all had like, you know, the British had the Navy, right?
Yeah.
And like.
But their land wasn't really shit. And then, you know, German army is fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Incredible. You had the German tanks are probably like in that time they're by far the best tanks in the world. They just couldn't mass produce them, and that's one of the reasons they lost the war. Because Russia, they had shitty tanks, but they kept throwing men and resources into building these shitty tanks, and eventually, like, you're gonna run out of shit because you can't kill all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like that. I mean, this is like one of the few war memories that I've had, but just flashbacks. But like, I don't know if it was like Napoleon or it could have been. It might have been Lenin, where they like burned. Like they realized they couldn't fight these people, so they just burned everything down and just ran. So that those people didn't have any. So was that Germany?
That's well, it's happened a lot. So I'm trying to think. I think it's called Total War. That style of warfare, but I mean it's happened throughout history. Like it happened in Turkey when I'm losing it.
No, you're good.
It's like the in the age of like the Vlad the Impaler and shit like that. If you had an army and you couldn't fight them, you would just burn everything that you had so that the other people couldn't have it, and then you'd run away and fight another day. So
yeah.
I know the Romans did it with Hannibal because Hannibal couldn't sustain his army without food, water, shit like that.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, but I think definitely one of the biggest. I don't know. One of the things I find most interesting about World War II is just the different things that happen.
Yeah,
there's a whole new age of weaponry too. You had tanks, but there are better tanks. You had an air force with fighters and bombers, and the Battle of Britain is like one of the most underrated battles in World War II because it didn't happen on the ground; it happened in the air, and that's why Britain didn't get invaded by sea was because Germany didn't have air superiority. So Hitler realized, like, realistically, I can't win this if I invade until I gain air superiority.
Right.
So
he had to establish that. Is that so? Like, I mean, I want to get into like which battles or engagements were the most important, and, in your opinion, at least.
Yeah, I mean,
so that was one of the ones. Yeah, specifically.
Battle of Britain, obviously. Midway is another one where the U.S. was taking on Japan at this little ass island in Midway, but it's because U.S. intelligence figured out, like, all right, this is where the Japanese are massing their navy, and they're going to send them here just to take over this little ass island, and they're going to try to find our navy and take them out. Well, U.S. intelligence figured it out. They figured out the dates, like, down something crazy, like within like 5 minutes to the hour. And 5 miles of like where the location was, like it was quickly. Happen. Yeah.
How did they do it? Was there like strategy to it, or?
I don't know. I don't know how intel works, but
they just had some smart motherfuckers on the team right there.
I mean, I know they did. It's like intercepting a radio wave, so it's like cryptic shit like that. But,
yeah, like Morse code and shit.
Yeah, I mean, all of it's important. Like even the Battle of the Bulge, like. That's a more famous one, but it's huge because it was Hitler's last offensive, and like if he could have pulled it off, it would have extended the war significantly longer than what it was. And it was already for the U.S. it was
5 years.
Yeah.
Because we came in right at the end there, but it had been going on before that for what?
Yeah,
another 10 years.
It started in 1939 when Hitler invaded Poland.
Right.
And then he went over to Belgium and France and.
Just kept going.
Blitzkrieg. Yeah, pretty much. And then that's when Russia got involved. Like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? We had an agreement about Poland. Like, we were supposed to get half. Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
Whoa. Hey. Yeah. Poland was ours too, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah, so...
why would they want Poland of all countries?
Just shit, dude. Well, he was like, he just wanted to... Hitler just wanted to unify, like, German-speaking people. Like, German people. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, Austria kind of, like... I don't even know how to describe it. Like, Germany absorbed Austria because they were, Germanic. You know, they were Aryan. That's what I'm looking for. So, yeah, that was part of it. Anyway, like, the big battles that I was thinking are the most important are, the Battle of Britain, because it's huge. Midway, obviously, because it was a turning point in the war in the Pacific.
Well, I'd like to talk about a little bit more about the Battle of Britain too, because like that air, that's huge. You know what I mean? Like that's, just like in general terms, like think about it, like things that make us human or things that make us like more progressive than any other people or species. We can fly without having the natural capability to fly. So putting that in air and then turning it into
weaponizing it. Yeah.
Weaponizing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's craziness. It's just. I mean, both sides lost a lot because Hitler wanted, like, Britain more than anything. It was the last piece of Europe that he really hadn't taken yet,
And Britain's huge. That would have been a huge win.
Yeah, I mean, because then that gives him a launching point to invade the U.S. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure. And then they had Narnia going on during this whole time.
Narnia,
yeah.
And he was gonna fuck them up, dude. They didn't even have like guns.
Just had lions and shit. Yeah, I guess. You think Aslan can stop Hitler? I don't know.
I don't know. He can hardly stop the White Witch.
Barely. I mean, he ate her face off, but
yeah.
Other than that, he was the rest of the people were involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like you said, and that was probably tough for Britain too on Britain's side.
Yeah, dude, they lost a lot of pilot. I don't know the stats.
It's like I wonder how they worked it because, like you said, like their navy and land, like their navy was great, but their land was not. So like, how did they reallocate the resources to be like, okay, this is what we're gonna have to do now? You have to be like quick with it.
So what they did was they established a whole bunch of different airfields along the eastern coast of Britain, and you had pilots from all over the UK. So it was like Irish, Scottish, Welsh, English, obviously, and then you also had dudes from their colonies too. So you had Indians and Afghanis because they were an English colony, and then you had dudes from Africa too, and they let them fly, and what they did was they had a bunch of radars set up on the East Coast too, and when they knew that German pilots were coming, it just sent out scrambles from like two different directions.
Damn. So they almost did like the throwing bodies at it type of thing too.
But in defense, that's kind of the only option you have. Where offensively, like there might be other ways around it, but defense, like you got to use what you have. So,
yeah.
And the crazy thing is, like, these pilots were flying, like 3-4 scrambles a day, which could be, 3 to 4 hours engagements, and then come back, land, maybe eat real quick, maybe not.
Dang.
Get back in your plane, refuel, get the fuck up there.
I don't know how you would have like the mental capacity to do that, dude. Like if without food, it's like I wouldn't be able to function or sleep. It's like they probably didn't have much time to sleep, or they weren't able to sleep when they did because of all the shit that was going on.
Yeah, it's craziness. It's I don't know. Like even like me, like I don't know if even a lot of my platoon, like I don't know if we'd be able to do it. I mean, I'm sure like when time comes, you step up or you get the fuck out of the way. But,
you'd like to think you could.
Yeah, but I mean that's just hard shit that you got to do. Even like it doesn't matter like what role you played in the war. Like you know
that you're like adding into this like war.
Yeah, like you're doing it every day
to kill somebody
every night. Yeah,
a little bit. Or people are killing you too. It's crazy.
It's craziness. Yeah.
But to like get back into the like you said, they had like the Africans and whatnot. So I mean, a little bit about the segregation back during World War II and stuff like that, right? So how I mean, I from what I've learned, I heard that like, I mean, for the Civil War and World War I and World War II, we always promised people that would like go fight for us, like, well, when you get back, then you'll get your freedom and shit, right?
Yeah.
And it just didn't turn out like that.
I mean, it fucked them, just like everybody else gets fucked. But they did fuck them. And they wouldn't even let them serve in combat roles. So like dudes, like able-bodied African American and Mexican and Japanese guys, like they wouldn't.
They had great bodies. They were real tight and like
so fucking tight. Dude. Gorgeous.
These gorgeous men, and they weren't able to fight.
No, they weren't able to fight with white units, and actually, so there was 2 African American infantry divisions where they would fight. They fought in Italy in 1944. the kind of close to the end of the war. There was one, I think it was the 42nd Infantry Regiment or Division. They were Japanese Americans or Asian Americans because, like, they, with the Japanese internment camps, if you looked Asian, like, you were
That's
like, gone.
another part of history that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's
for
fucked
America. Up. We just threw these. Yeah. It's like, oh, they're doing camps. We should try camps over here.
Yeah, dude. It's you can't recognize like the Holocaust and not think about like these Japanese American citizens that they got fucked over for how many years of their lives just because they're Japanese. It's fucked.
Yeah.
So now it's completely different.
And that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you think it's changed like a lot, like mostly for the best? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely you definitely have your issues, right? Mm-hmm. But for now, like I had 2 mixed dudes in my platoon.
Yeah.
Jones and
I have some mixed friends. Yeah, I'm not racist.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm getting at. Both of them were bisexual. We had a half Asian American dude. You just learn so much about like so many different people. We had like Latin American dudes. We had Mexican dudes. Like you just learn shit about different cultures, and you give them shit for it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want to preface it like I'm not an asshole. Like everybody should be able to do what they want to do, regardless of who they are or what their background is.
Yeah.
But my battle buddy is a dude named Fuentes, dude. He's Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And every day I called him an island Mexican just because I thought it was funny, dude.
Just because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I feel like within, these teams or like these, in the Army, it's the you got to do whatever you can to make you laugh out there, right?
Yeah, you can't, dude. There's no.
And I mean, I'm sure they were like, well, yeah, but you're like, a white dude. It was like, wears glasses. What are you? Or something,
it's like you're an overweight white dude that wears glasses and you have red hair. Like, who are you making fun of?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. They called you. What's up, Pasty?
Yeah. I mean, but my truck alone. So Fuentes was the driver. He's Puerto Rican. I had our TC and platoon sergeant was a dude named Holloway. Mm-hmm. He was adopted from Brazil. Our gunner and my team leader was a dude named Markunis. He was born in Lithuania. So really, I was the only purebred in the truck.
So you were with all these fucking mutts, these pieces of shit.
Yeah, dude. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm. But you're all being treated the same. You all the same benefits and stuff?
You're all a piece of shit. None of you are worthy of even food. Get fucked.
Get fucked, yeah.
We're like, Roger got it, Sergeant. I'm gonna go that way.
And that's what the pouch is for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that if you don't get food, you got that backup supply.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Yeah, definitely. And do you think that applies with like women too, in a way? Like, I don't know, you didn't name any like girls on your team, right?
No, we didn't have. Yeah, we didn't have any women on our platoon. They are. So in 2017, I was in basic training. 2016 actually. They allowed. That's the year that Congress approved that women could serve in combat roles.
Oh wow!
The service. So it's kind of a big deal.
And it's pretty recent too.
Yeah, and I was leaving. I was leaving basic as girls came in, and we were like, "What the fuck are they? What the fuck are they doing here? Like that doesn't." I didn't even think they were allowed to be here. And my stance on it.
And it wasn't like, oh, you shouldn't be here. It was like, I just didn't think you were allowed to be here.
I was like, when the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
My thought on it is, if they can do my job as good or better than me, fuck
by all means,
all for it.
However,
that being said, I know that if we had a female in our platoon and lived with us in our bay, we all would have got sharped. And sharp is like your sexual harassment and assault, military legal shit for doing dumb, like saying dumb shit. And it comes back.
Well, because you're calling each other like dumb pieces of shit or whatever.
Yeah,
and
dude.
You like call her that, or you call it like.
It's a little bit more vulgar. Than
yeah,
I don't
obviously.
know what I'm allowed to get away with on here, but like, I mean, yeah, dude. Like I don't want to get
no, yeah, don't. I mean, I think you've prefaced it enough to the point where, and like you have to understand what I want the listeners to understand is like the Army group out there it's so much.
It's different. Like
it's separated from American PC culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like So I had one of my best friends. His name's Lockerbie, dude. We were friends with Jones, and we would look at Jones and be like, "Hey, Jones, are you jealous?" And then we'd kiss each other on the mouth. Like just dumb shit like that. Yeah. Like it was just goofy shit. Like,
yeah.
None of it made sense. Like.
Like we said earlier, it's like you got to do whatever you can just to have a good time
for
out there.
Entertainment, dude. Yeah, like you are that hard up for entertainment.
You were that hard for entertainment.
I was pretty hard for entertainment.
So with when if you all would have got sharped because if you were to say some like, hey, if you were even to tell her like, hey, are you jealous, and like you kiss you kiss a dude on the lips, it's still like, oh my god, you know what I mean?
Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have got shot, and like there's some other shit, but there's definitely a view. So like, I'm in a platoon of 40 dudes. We get a new private, and he's a dude. New guy, you're gonna fuck with him, make him hard. You're gonna make him prove that he
earned his spot.
Yeah, he earned his spot. You're gonna make him. Why are you here? You're gonna make him show you why he's fucking here. Mm-hmm. And the same thing would be with a female, like male or female. That private is gonna get shit on until they know
their place.
Until they know their place, and they they learn more about their job, because basic training doesn't teach you everything. So, but I feel like with a female, and it's a new job, new to the MOS. She's gonna have more to prove, just because.
Because she is a female.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate for her, but it's. I mean, that's just how it is right now.
Yeah.
Right now, at least, and hopefully it becomes normalized to the point where they don't have to do that. But
yeah, but you got to think, dude. Like our job, we're a combat arms job, so we're out front. Scouts, especially, we're out front on OPs and shit. We're the closest to the enemy. We got eyes on, ears on. Women are new to this. You have to trust them that they're going to be able to do it. You got to trust that, okay, if I get hit, is she going to be strong enough to drag me back to the truck, get me the fuck out of here? Mm-hmm. Or if we got to ruck 6 miles to our OP, is she going to be strong enough to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Or
I don't know if she could carry you, maybe some other, some of the other.
Yeah. I mean, but like it is what it is. But
that's what you got to worry about.
You got to carry your weight if you're in our platoon. So if you can't do that, male or female, you got to fucking go.
Right.
And
so it's touchy because of just genetics. Just genetics. And
and it doesn't help that the Army has different standards for your PT scores. So like I have to do 53 sit-up or 53 push-ups minimum to pass my PT test. Women have to do, I think it's less than 30.
Yeah.
And I get it, like genetics are built different, but if I'm doing this to pass my PT test, then why are you not doing it? Like, why do they not have the same standard as me?
Right, it's like equity versus equality for sure.
Yeah, so,
but I mean, and they still can prove themselves, they
can.
It's not like that's the only job for them within the Army either. There's other things that are available, and if you can't, physically live up to it. Not live up to it, but like if you can't physically compete or be, like you said, if you can't save my life, I'm gonna need you to save my life,
And we have, and not even to shit on that, and not saying they can't, because we had female medics over there that they were trained for that. They would train with us, and they were right there next to us in our drills too. But if I got like. In training, if I got like hit with quotation marks, there's Glenn. Is she gonna be able to drag me back, or do I want Prempe, who fucking can lift up fucking 450 pounds and drag me with one hand while he's still doing whatever the fuck he needs to do with his other? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's shit like that.
It's a touchy subject matter for sure, and I mean, and like I said, I think we both proven that it's like we want to have equality, like we want, like you said earlier, even when we were talking about like the races and stuff, everybody deserves a chance to do what they want to do and be able to do it the best they can, but it's like, I mean, there's just limiting factors in the world.
You know, so like if you're going to go on a mission with me, you prove that you can do everything that is required of you to go out on that mission. You know, you can be really smart, but if physically you can't handle it, you can't handle it. You know, or other way around. If physically you can do it, but you're not smart enough to keep your fucking mouth shut, so we don't get heard. You know, like you're not coming.
Yeah.
You know? Or if you're not competent on this weapon system, you're not coming. You know, shit like that. So
yeah. Yeah, and you would like to think if they made it past the first couple things, and then they probably are, and whatnot, and it's not, that's I mean that's what, like you said, that's with anybody. Like that's not just women, because there's annoying ass dudes too who can't shut their mouth, and
and you got little scrawny dudes too that can't fucking do anything, and I'll tell them
like me, I couldn't do that shit.
You think you're going out here now?
I'd be like, but it's hot, and you'd be like, but it's been hot.
Yeah, and I did mines too. Like I gotta say, like I'm overweight, always have been, probably always will be, dude. But I always made sure I was physically fit enough to do what I had to do, whether I looked like I could or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. And at first I caught flack for being overweight and shit, and I still do. But they're, they at the end of the day know, like I did mine. You know, like they saw it.
Right.
So yeah.
So it's just about earning the part.
Yeah,
whatever.
You just gotta earn your respect.
And kind of getting back into World War II is like definitely women stepped up to the plate back in the day.
Yeah, they did. Like Rosie the Riveter, like they were electricians. They were making tanks. They were making planes. They were making engines. They were making bullets. They were making rifles. Like they were doing it all because the men were away.
Right.
They stepped up. They definitely deserve that recognition, and that definitely made a strong case for them to step up in other roles to where, we're in 2016 and now they're allowed to serve in combat. Like
so they got to this point, they earned that, that way in, I guess. Yeah. Which is great. I'm glad. And so, I don't know really how this is going to tie into everything. But I feel like we should be wrapping it up at this point a little bit. Yeah. But, just one of the questions is, why is it important to learn history? Because it's going to repeat itself, Yeah. So, like, I guess you could apply it a little bit to the women's situation, because we don't want to re-oppress anybody, including women or race or gender or whatever. I
definitely think it's important to learn the history about what happened in World War II versus now, because you can appreciate what happened. For women, they made that headway in World War II, and it led to them getting, equality in the Army.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And equality as far as they have gone, because there's a lot more to go, especially with everything going on at Fort Hood and shit. But
what's going on at Fort Hood?
That girl came up missing for sexual assault. Again.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't hear about that.
Yeah, sexual assault's like real big in the Army too, and that's why they work so hard to mitigate it and stuff like that. And most of it, like, people will say it's jokes and stuff, and like jokes are jokes. But to
tell the line,
at a certain point, it's not a joke. Like she feels uncomfortable, or even men. Like
you've gotten to the point where you felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I'm not cool with this. I'm gonna head out. So,
yeah.
But it's important to like know the history, because what other people went through. Like me being a soldier, I want to know what guys in the past have experienced, that way I can prepare myself mentally, but also like sympathize. Like, I kind of like, I will never understand what happened in World War II. Like, I was never on the front lines of World War II. They went through so much shit that like it's not even like fathomable to me. But
yeah, for sure.
I can at least realize that what they did was fucking hard. And other people should realize what they did was fucking hard and have an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
And have an appreciation for what that meant and like what the world is like today because of what they did.
Right, and it's hard for people like me who aren't involved in the military army at all, because like for me it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I've heard that you need to look at history so that we don't repeat our past. It's like, but personally it's like, how am I going to affect that? You know what I mean? But in the Army, it's like you're there, like you're involved in the politics in a way. You're involved in the things that are good, that could repeat themselves, this looks the same as the thing that happened during World War II, or this,
Yeah, or like this is a similar engagement, or this is a similar type of leadership that I read about in the past. How would I deal with it? Or how would I take on this situation? And even other things, like I'm a big military history guy, so I like learning about that shit. But even like anything, you know.
Oh yeah, like management.
Yeah.
Business wise, you look at other businesses to learn and be able to, and like the history of businesses too. You know.
I mean, you're not gonna look at the Industrial Revolution and be like any of that was okay. That's why you have like workers' rights laws and shit. Like child laws and shit like that.
True.
Like it's good to understand what happened then, so you don't fucking repeat the fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people, and if it doesn't,
it definitely makes sense to me. Yeah. Well, because Louis C.K. has this joke where it's this like, of course, but maybe, and so it's like, well, of course, slavery was bad. Of course it is. But then he has like these dark parts, these dark thoughts. He's like, well, but maybe every major accomplishment that we've like experienced throughout history has been done by people with low wages or slaves, like the pyramids, the Industrial Revolution,
iPads.
Yeah. See, it's fucked up, but it's also like, well, I mean, so it's you got to be able to learn from that and hopefully do it the right way the next time we have an opportunity to become more progressive as a nation or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's huge, dude.
It's huge.
You gotta know what happened, so that you can learn from it.
Right.
You can't be uneducated about. You can't not learn things because you're not interested, and then be upset. Same thing. Like, it's already happened. You could have learned from this. You didn't. That's
and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming out. Chock full info on. Doing some king shit and talking about the army and whatnot.
Yeah.
You don't fly planes, so I mean that's unfortunate. But
I don't. Arguably, I do a lot cooler shit.
Yeah.
Machine gunner.
Machine gunner, yeah.
Not on a plane.
No, that's some king shit right there.
Yeah.
Shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shoot machine guns. What about it?
Yeah, like my brother's in the Air Force and he like flies planes. But has he ever shot a belt-fed machine gun? No, he hasn't. Get fucked, nerd, pick one and suck it.
All right, we'll leave it at that. I think that's pretty catchy too. Mm-hmm. Can you say that one more time?
Get fucked, nerd, pick one and suck it.
All right, hell yeah. Get fucked, nerd, pick one and suck it. And that's how we do. That's just how we do out here. Well, anyways, that was CP, and I appreciate him coming out here. It was great. We had a good time and got some bears. Wrestled some bears afterward and during. I heard that, if you heard that or not. But yeah, again, very fun guy. Loved hanging out with him. Loved seeing him. Same with all of my guests, but specifically this time it was super fun. Also, there's been this thing going on. I don't know if it's just like the placement or if something's been happening with the microphone, but through the episode it keeps like doing like something like that. I tried to imitate the noise, but maybe that was a little much. But I'm gonna try to figure out why it's doing that. If that's annoying to you, I apologize, and we're gonna figure it out. Anyways, thanks for listening. I appreciate you. Love you. Amen. Okay, bye. Let me test it out first. You want to say something?
Okay.
You want to say something like normal volume? King shit?
King shit. You can't smoke a rock. I've never been raped, not one time.
Not once?
No.
Oh, shit.